Hi everyone, and welcome back to my second video after starting again. Today we're going to be talking about the autumnal aesthetic. It is now the autumn period and it is my favourite season, and I feel like for a lot of people it's their favourite season for many similar reasons. Today I just wanted to talk about this season and basically celebrate it and explain what the fascination is. Grab yourself a drink as always and let's get talking about autumn. And it goes a little like... Summer should be the season that, at least in the UK, we look forward to the most because it gives us that chance to escape into the outdoors in the warmer weather when it's not raining. And I would say that the remaining 300 days of the year we are confined to our houses because it is cold and it's raining. So theoretically summer should be that season that and I believe it is true for some people because there are so many wonderful aspects about summer, but for some reason there is a major soft spot for autumn in our current culture. This has been growing on social media and in turn it gives this hype for the season. So today I really want to talk about why that is and celebrate this season for everything that it has. So I wanted to give a little bit of context on autumn as a season because I feel like a lot of the things that we celebrate and that we value nowadays has its roots in history and tradition. In terms of Northern Europe especially, autumn was that time where people would come together and celebrate with feasts and food and activities. I don't want to butcher this word, but Lammas or Loafmas was celebrated on the 1st of August and it symbolised the very beginning of the autumn period. Families would come together and they would hold religious services, feasts, and it was a chance for young singles to find a partner. So autumn represented a time of community and socialisation. Interestingly, prior to the 14th century, the season was only known as harvest, and it actually wasn't recognised by many cultures across the world who only recognised summer and winter. And it wasn't until the 17th century that the term fall actually came into use. Nowadays, this is a term that is used so often across the world and we all know what it means. So why is there an aesthetic for this season in particular? If you think about all the other seasons in the year, autumn really holds an atmosphere with it, some kind of magical buzz. Maybe that's just coming from me because it is my favourite season, but I feel like along with Christmas maybe, but maybe not winter as a whole period because it is very bleak and dark, autumn really represents a time of community like it was in the past and celebrating different holidays that come with that. There is something in the air around this time that just feels so different than the rest of the year. I've broken it down to 3 points as to why this season appeals to me. There are going to be loads of other reasons as well that other people will have, but I believe that these ones will resonate the most with people. So the first reason why autumn is so appealing is that it is the most sensory season. It really marks a change in the seasons and this change is possibly the most dramatic. It's that transition to colder mornings and the comfort of being under a warm duvet after the blistering heat of summer. It provides that small window of opportunity to get outside and enjoy the outdoors when it's not as warm but before it gets too cold. In keeping with the sensory part of this, if we think about what we can see during the autumn period, there are the mesmerising colours of red, orange, yellow. This is actually the lack of chlorophyll in the leaves, which is in abundance during the summer periods when it's a lot lighter. You can smell the burntness of bonfires, the sweetness of cinnamon and the warmth of ginger and cloves. And you can taste those spices that I talked about before but it's the pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks and comforting foods like soups and stews and drinking a mulled wine whilst walking around a market. You can hear the crackle of firewood, the sizzle of chestnuts on a fire. If you haven't done this, recommend it. Chestnuts are incredible to eat. They have an amazing flavour. It's the squeal of fireworks as well on bonfire night. For me, that has always been a nostalgic sound. And lastly, you can feel so much. It's the coldness as you walk out the front door in the morning. It's the comfort and the warmth you feel laying under a blanket after a long day at work. And I believe that the heat from a cup of coffee is the most profound than at any other time of the year. And though I just touched upon it, it is that feeling of nostalgia as well. Going for long muddy walks in the woods when you're a kid and coming back home and getting in the bath or the shower and warming up. It's everything. It all piles into one. The second reason why I think autumn is possibly the best season is because it gives us the excuse to enjoy our home again. After being outside all summer and enjoying the warmth that comes with that, autumn gives you that excuse to enjoy your home again. So it will give you the excuse to buy decorations and make it all cozy for when you come back from work, and you can create that form of ambiance for coziness. I honestly, that is like the best thing, and I love feeling cozy, as does anyone, but autumn is that shift from the summer months, and yeah, that excuse just to do that. If you think about it, we have to spend more time at home or down the pub in autumn and winter because it's darker outside and we don't really have any choice but to do that. As humans do love comfort, there is a tendency to make our homes more comfortable and more cozy as a result. The third reason why autumn holds a really special place in my heart is because there is a very deep psychological aspect that comes with it. It's a time of year where you reflect on how the year has gone, and it's also a time to look forward to those exciting events coming up. I believe the reason we reflect at this time of year is because the shift from summer into autumn really gives us that time to think about how good the summer was, how good spring was, and what we've achieved in that time. I also believe it's a time where the world itself just has a sigh of relief, because after the long hot days in summer, it's a time for the earth to just cool down, quite literally, and take a breath. And that is why I think humans have a tendency to do that too, because I believe our environment plays so much into our actions and thoughts and emotions, and I believe that this dramatic shift from the hot days into the colder and milder really gives us that opportunity to look back. And if you think about it, Americans have this twofold, because Thanksgiving is a holiday that encourages people to think about what they're thankful for. Autumn is a season, along with winter obviously, that does an impeccable job of bringing people together and making us realise what actually matters in life, and that may be family and friends and loved ones. Speaking of Thanksgiving, autumn is a signifier that we should look forward to events coming up. So obviously we've got Halloween coming up, we've got Christmas and New Year's. It's a really busy time in terms of celebration, and I think we genuinely need that, especially if you live in countries where it does get colder and darker in the winter. You do need something to look forward to, otherwise it is bleak. I do love autumn and I think it is beautiful, but I do think that the thought that we do have events coming up does definitely make this season more magical. And I personally feel that this may be the biggest reason why people love autumn so much, because it makes us excited for what's to come in the next few months. Because I started this video talking about the history of autumn and where everything originates for us, I thought it was quite apt to talk about autumn in our present world. And as a result, I think capitalism and consumerism is a massive part of that. Autumn has been a massive moneymaker in the market ever since I can remember, with things such as Halloween costumes, autumn home goods, candles and limited edition flavours of food and drink available every single year. As a 27-year-old and someone who has seen the birth and the rapid growth of social media, I can say that social media has exacerbated this influence of autumn immensely in our lives. We no longer even need to leave our homes to experience the aesthetic of autumn and the influence of buying things that might make our lives a bit more enjoyable or better. It is obvious that we are buying into this nature of consumerism towards autumn because this is the nature of our society now. But what I will say on a positive note is that our interest in buying these products really shows the interest we have in the season generally and the value that we hold for it. Social media and products are the modern equivalent of that medieval feast where families and friends would come together. They essentially are a reflection of what our society values, and I think it's amazing that many aspects of this aesthetic have their roots in our history. To end this video, I really want to ask you guys what you actually love about autumn. I think the biggest reason for me is the sensory part of it. I honestly do feel like autumn holds a massive sense of nostalgia for me, and I feel like that might be the case with a lot of you watching. So yeah, just let me know maybe 2-3 reasons why you love autumn so much. They might be the same reasons that I've talked about. Thank you very much for watching as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.